We're here to bring real solutions to real problems affecting real people today. With your support, you can join us in becoming part of the solution and a part of this movement.
Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, July 13th, 9 days after Independence Day, and almost the middle of Disability Pride Month. And I feel the need to talk about something that's very important, and that's support networks, networking in general, having resources outside of our systems. The reality is that healthcare systems, Medicaid systems, Medicare systems, support systems that are largely funded by our government, sometimes nonprofits. We do need to realize that these are systems, and as systems inherently cannot care. So that means that it's on us to develop our own support network, because a network is made up of individuals, and individuals can care. People can care, and they do. You'll find that they will care when you ask or when you express a need. It's important to be grateful, it's important to be kind, and it's important to not be too negative as we reach out and ask for help or assistance, to be more to everyone around us. Our independence is what allows us to be more to everyone else. Right now I'm taking a couple of jaunts around the garden. I try to do this in the morning and the evening because it is the best way to keep critters like rabbits from eating your garden. They're usually out in the morning and the evening. Of course, they'll come out throughout the night too, but if your presence is sensed or known at those times, they'll stay away. I thought I would take this time to encourage you, if you live with disability, if you're a person with disability, to make sure that you're expressing your problems to those around you, to your community, to your online friends, to everyone you interact with, and that you're doing so appropriately, right? When we scream and cry for help, we act upset, when we're overly negative, I understand that. I've been that. But when we approach our problems more calmly, with a mindset that seeks solutions, right? When we ask for help, and we do so in a way that both communicates our problems, but also shows our value, how much more we could be and do, how much happier we could be, how much more independent we could be, how better off everyone around us is if we just have a little bit of help being independent. And you know that there are different people with different disabilities in different disability situations, and our levels and types of help that we need are different. And often we get into this conversation of comparison, right? Who deserves more help? Who needs more help? Well, that's kind of up to you. What do you need? What do you want to be? What do you want to give back to your community, whether it's online or in person? Whether it's where you live or among a movement that seeks to better the lives of many. It's important that we're okay with asking for help. I used to not be myself. I used to choose to suffer over choosing to ask for help. And again, when it comes to help, there's another caveat here. We are often offered help that we don't need or we don't want, or that doesn't really facilitate our independence. You know, me personally, a good example is doors. I'm very capable of opening most doors myself, and I find that people who don't know me in particular will rush to open a door that I can open. I can open and hold for them. And that's not the help I need. You know, the help I needed was facilitating a better piece of mobility equipment and various aspects of this organization, right? I can't run this organization without other people because I don't have all the skills necessary. I have to build a team, and I have built a team. And I continue to build teams of those who can do that work and do have that knowledge and do have that expertise. So when you approach a problem in your life, disability related or not, remember that it's okay to ask for help, and remember, you know, that it's okay for people to say no, and that's hard sometimes, right? I see a lot of people that reach out constantly for help, and they get a lot of people who say they can't help or don't have the time. Sometimes people will promise help that they aren't capable of giving, and then they fail, and they don't know how to man up and disappoint you, right? They don't know how to say, I intended to help, I wanted to help, I really did, but I just didn't have the time. I've got to go to work, I've got to take care of my kids, I've got to repair my home, whatever it is, right? That there are reasons and factors in everyone's life. But just because some people say no doesn't mean that there aren't other people who will say yes. And just because some people don't have the time or ability doesn't mean that there aren't other people who do. And a friend of mine, about 6 years ago, which is the beginning of my greater journey of independence, told me something. And it was with regard to an initiative that I was working on with them. And that's to always be asking. And what does that mean, to always be asking? Well, one thing that I learned, in a very hard way, right, is that if you don't ask for it, you don't get it. And in terms of systems, right, that asking is a very wasteful process of bureaucracy. It can waste your time, it can waste the time of those who work in the systems, and sometimes when we need help, those systems aren't where we should ask. We should ask the people who are capable of doing it with fewer resources in less time. And when it comes to receiving help, I want you to remember, well, it's very important to be grateful. The number one reason that people will help you is because it makes them feel good. If they're donating to something you need, they're buying that feel-good feeling. If they're donating their time, right, which has value, right, it's as good as money sometimes, well, actually more than sometimes. They're buying that feeling of having helped you. Makes us feel good. We all need that. And in terms of finding your own independence, I encourage you to also be helpful to others, because you deserve that feel-good feeling, right? Humans deserve to feel good, and often helping each other is what makes us feel good. We can feel better than our own accomplishments. I know I feel that way. The people I've helped, that's my excuse for my life. That's my reason for it, right? When I look back in the past and I think about the people I've helped, or at least tried to help, that validates me. That validates what I've needed. That validates what I've gone through. That validates the help from others that I've received in my mind. So asking for help, right? That's how you build a network. Hey, I want to do this. Can you help me? And you've got 1 to 3 people helping you do this. And then you've got a network to do this. So when it comes to the Mobility Independence Foundation and our open hardware designs, if you want one, you're going to have to ask for help. If we end up in the ability, the financial ability to fund builds, we will. We're actually developing an application for that. But you will have to ask, right? And the way you ask, how you ask, what the results of your ask are intended to be, what you want to do with that equipment, why you want it, why you need it, what value are you going to receive and become from having that piece of equipment. That's an ask. And sometimes, you might have to ask the businesses in your community that are capable of doing this kind of work to also help, or your friends and family or online network, whoever you know, to help you fund it. That's an ask. And it was very hard for me to learn to ask, and to learn that it was okay to ask, that I deserved to at least be able to ask. And one of the things that makes that hard is that there will always be people who will run you down for asking. There will always be people who think you should be just fine sitting in a room with cable TV and eating prescription pills and not becoming anything, or giving back value in a way that brings you that feel-good feeling that I was just talking about. But it's okay for them to feel that way, I guess. They're wrong. And it's okay for you to realize that they're wrong. And when that happens, it's better to not respond or not get involved in that kind of negative discussion. Move forward without them. The best way to prove them wrong is to find the people who say yes, to find the help you need, and to become something that gives back, whether that's by being more independent and needing less in the future, or by actually being able to give back in terms of volunteering, or starting your own initiative to better the lives of others, or just getting a job, maybe. Maybe it's raising your own food, whatever it is. But the best way to prove them wrong is to succeed. And you're not going to succeed by wasting your time dealing with people who are being negative when you ask. And, they're out there. There's a ton of them. I've had people tell me that I would be just fine with a $100 hospital-style wheelchair from Walmart, but I wouldn't be able to leave my home in, and that I would be stuck in a room, and they think that's just fine. But they don't know. They've never done it. They've never lived it. They're ignorant. Let them be so, right? You prove them wrong by succeeding, and you prove yourself to yourself by succeeding. And you prove that encouraging people to help you and then help others, and encouraging yourself to be in a position to truly help others, and to do so in a positive way. This is so important, right? So we have a new neighbor, and that neighbor has a child that's sick. We don't really know much about the situation. We had a brief conversation. And as you can see, his lawn has been overgrown. And we found out recently by talking to him that he has been spending a lot of time with that sick child. And that lawn being overgrown is why we have rabbits. And that's why I am circling the garden a few times every morning and every evening, because it helps keep them away. And myself and my immediate family, we depend on the garden. It feeds us, it lowers our bills, it gives us a healthier diet, it also tastes better, and it saves on that budget. The gardening tips, folks, are free, as are the advice about being okay with asking for help, why it's okay to just move on past people who are negative about it. Find your solutions. Find your path. You know, don't get stuck because somebody has dropped a big boulder of negativity in front of you. Go around that boulder. Find the positivity. I think some of this I'm still learning. May, in fact, be sorting it out a little bit as I talk to you. But it's important. And you know, it's probably more important in a lot of ways for those with disabilities. But this also, you know, this kind of message of asking for help or being okay with needing help, you know, able-bodied people need this too. Sometimes it's a work situation or a family situation or a budget situation. You know, everybody needs to be okay with asking for help. Demanding is different than asking. Demanding is not so polite. Oh, there's a bluebird in the bluebird box. Looks like they're nesting. So if you're out there and there's something you want to do or something you need and you need some help, ask for it. Please ask for it. Start with your family, and friends, and neighbors. As I've advocated for people over the years, there was a lot of crowdfunding involved, and I would tell people, you go right back to the people you graduated high school with. You'd never know how many people have a fond memory of you, right? How many people from 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago remember you and still care about you. Even if you haven't talked to them in years or even decades. You know, they may just know your name, remember who you were, and believe that you're deserving. And I'm here to, I'm here to tell you that you are deserving, right? We all are. Basic human respect. And again, you know, our systems that be, they don't care, they don't respect, they're systems. Systems don't have that capacity. Humans and individuals do, and a lot of people that work in these systems, they care and have more respect, and the system allows them to actually exercise with the resources through those systems. I see this in social workers all the time. I see this in doctors all the time. They they often wish they were allowed to do better. They often wish they were allowed to care more. They often wish they were allowed to provide more help. And that's why they're not so dependable, right? The rules change, budgets change, the people in charge change, and they all have different opinions that often don't really apply. But you know what doesn't change? What doesn't change is the fact that you deserve it, that you as a human being deserve that respect and support. And the other thing that really doesn't change is that people in general are kind and supportive and caring in ways that systems never can be. So please, you know, ask for help. I can tell you that I get lots of messages and emails asking for help. And when they come in, first I assess the issue and my time and availability, right? Because everything I do is to help, and so I have to be careful that I'm not allowing these roadblocks in my way to helping more people. But it is not uncommon that there is someone that I can directly help, that I do have an hour or two here or there that I can help. And sometimes I already have resources to draw upon. right? At the organization, we're developing this web portal to network resources, and it's not up yet. It's not live, but I still run into people, and we still get requests for the kind of help that portal is meant to help you find. And because we have this list of resources that our outreach director, Chase Kahn, has built and is developing and most familiar with, I reach out to Chase and say, hey, you know, this person is in Idaho or Florida or New York City, and they're asking for resources to help them with this situation. What's on our list in their area? And I'll send them that list. And it is often that they don't know that many resources exist right there in their area. And it is on that individual, right? And we don't do all the work for you. You got to be a part of this. Then it is on that individual to do those calls, to reach out, send those emails, and discover what they need that's available. You know, find their own path. Sometimes that's a wheelchair repair. Sometimes that's getting out of the house. Sometimes that's help inside the house. But, you know, if they don't know those resources exist, and they don't know that it's okay to always be asking, to reach out, to say, hey, I'm a human being. I'm in this situation. It's not so great. I feel like I could do and be more if I had a little help, you know? It's okay to ask for help. And it's not okay to force people or demand people help you. It behooves us in these situations of needing help to remember that they are human beings and they have lives and they have commitments, and when they say no, it's okay. But just because someone says no, just because 1,000 people say no, doesn't mean you shouldn't keep asking. Because if you don't ask, you will not receive. I think that's important for all of us to remember. Our lives are our own. Our problems are our own. And we can ask for help, and we can find those solutions. I've done it. 6 years ago, I didn't think I would live long. I didn't think I would ever leave my apartment again. I had lost so much strength from not being able to get to the things that I do that keep my body going because of a lack of adequate wheelchair, that I couldn't pick up a coffee cup, right? I would pick up a coffee cup with my strong arm, and the whole arm would just collapse. And I reached out and I asked for help, and I got that help. Within 6 months, I not only gained strength, but I dropped a bunch of weight, and I had positive things to do in life that helped others and helped myself. You know, wealth is an interesting thing to discuss, because wealth has many aspects to it. It's not just the money you have, the money you can earn. It's also the people around you, the things you own, the abilities you have. That can be wealth. And while I personally do not have much money at all, bank account is at zero right now, folks, I consider myself incredibly wealthy now. Wealthier than some of the richest people on earth. I have people that care about me. I have people I can depend on. I have a network. I have the ability to move forward in helping so many other people. To me, that's wealth. My ability to be independent, and my ability to help others. That's where I find my true wealth. You can find it too. Just ask.